In places like US and Canada, the cost of being misunderstood can be very consequential and painful. Being misunderstood in the United States here will cost you credibility, it will cost you a job, it will cost you self-respect, self-worth, employment, it will cost you health care, it will cost you many things that you cannot even think of. So if you are an immigrant in America, especially from Africa, come, let me educate you for free on cultural values and diplomacy in these two countries. America is deep into the use of language. The use of language, I mean, is the way you say things, the words that you use, how you form them, how you conjugate them, how you frame them, and then the way you express them, especially your tonation, the way your voice or your tone sounds when you say things. Obviously, this will appear to be the same in most countries, but I tell you for free that it is not the same way that you appear when you say or speak in plain languages that you appear here. So many words in the United States are marked. Like when I say marked, they are marked to mean insensitive, abusive, disrespectful, so many things that you do not know that is associated to a single use of word. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but I want to tell you that especially in professional settings, they use languages that pulls a burden or shifts blame or responsibility to the next person. If you do not know the culture here, you will not know how to politely push back the blame, the responsibility, or even doubt back to the person pushing it to you. In America, language, let me say, the production of words is embedded in their culture. The way they speak, not the English, not the plain English that you know, the way they frame their words, their sentences, is embedded in the culture. They use plain English language, but there is a big diplomacy surrounding the use and the production of words, that language, English. There is a big diplomacy surrounding it. And like I said, I think it's kind of embedded in the culture. So when you come here, you have to again start or learn how to say things without coming off harsh, disrespectful, authoritative, or insubordinate. Your colleagues, believe you me, are going to take advantage of your vulnerability. If anything happens, they're going to try to put or shift the blame to you or on you. They use what you say against you. Why? Because they understand that you are vulnerable. They know that you are vulnerable. You do not know the diplomacy surrounding the use of the plain English language. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine works in a hospital. Something happened at the hospital, and the colleague wanted to shift the blame to her, obviously because she knows that she doesn't know the culture or the diplomacy in the language used in America. And she asked a simple question based on what she said. What do you mean by that? Very plain. What do you mean by that? And it became an issue. At the end of the day, they were called by their supervisor, and the supervisor told her that she was wrong. And she couldn't fathom, she couldn't understand. One day we were talking, she told me what happened, and she said that this person tried to put the blame of what she did wrong on her, and she refused to take it, and she asked her a question. What do you mean by what you're saying? You are the one that did something here now. What do you mean by what you're saying? And it became an issue. The subject matter, they left the subject matter, and the subject matter now changed from the mistake that someone did in the office to the question that she asked. What do you mean by that? And I try to explain what I'm trying to teach every one of you here who wants to listen. I said in the United States, it's all about diplomacy and understanding the culture that surrounds their speaking pattern. The same question you asked her, I'm going to ask you this same question, no change, nothing, but in a different form and pattern. I said you asked her, what do you mean by that? First off, there is frustration in the tone, which frustration here it's seen as being defensive, and being defensive is not something very professional in America. Number two, the what do you mean by that wasn't coded, because here in America, language production is about coding. I said, let me ask you this same question in a coded way. I am not sure I understand what you mean by that. Do you mind explaining what you mean? The same question. No provocation. Now, I have given this person the burden of having to think over what she just said and what she tried to do. By framing a simple question, what do you mean by that? In a way that is coded and diplomatic. I am not sure I understand what you mean by that. Do you mind explaining to me what you mean? This is how they talk here. Another of my friends lost a job over a common word, fat. Where we come from, we say it, oh, you fat, oh, you big now, you need to lose weight. Those things you cannot just come and say it here, especially in your work or working environment. One of my friends also in a hospital, she tried to, a patient who is very heavy, wanted her to do a transfer by herself, lifting him from one point to another, and she said, I can't do it alone, let me get someone who can help me. The patient said, why can't you do it alone? And she tried to explain. She said, because you're a bit heavy, a bit heavy, I need help to transfer you. She got sacked, laid off for that word. The patient went and complained that this nurse said, I am heavy, I am fat, and she was laid off. Use of language. When she told me about that, I said, I'm going to say the same thing in American coded cultural way of saying things. I said, what you would have said to the patient is, sir, it is very unsafe for me to transfer you alone. For your safety, I would be needing assistance from one of my colleagues who is also trained in this field or in transferring patients from one point to the other. It's for your safety. So please, let me get help. Very simple. You keep your job, you keep your head, you keep your sanity at the end of the day, and you have zero regrets. But if you learned the hard way, my sister, my brother, is no big deal. As long as you have learned, keep working with what you've learned. Do not make yourself vulnerable. Okay? Do not leave yourself vulnerable in a workplace in this country. Here you find people making excuses for things that they said unconsciously. And when you catch them off guard, you see them coming back to, counter themselves. See them coming back to explain and explain and explain and explain. And this is why, because the cost of being misunderstood in America is very consequential, is very painful. That is why you see them come back to counter what they just said a second ago with other language forms and patterns, trying to explain to you that it wasn't what you heard initially that they said or they're trying to say. They're trying to, again, paint it and then bring it back to the culture and diplomacy. You need to learn this as soon as you come to America, especially if you're going to be in a career field of work. If you don't, believe you me, you have challenges, you have problems, you lose jobs, you lose employment opportunities, you lose credibility, you lose a whole lot of things, yourself including. Learn the diplomacy of language production in America. Learn it and learn it fast. I have different stories, different scenarios, different experiences of my friends, me included. I did not just get up and learn, okay? I have also my personal experiences. So I am giving it to you for free. I've made that mistake for all of us. Learn before you get to this place, or learn as soon as you get to this place. Do not learn in the process. It is very painful when you learn in the process. The cost of being misunderstood in America is very consequential and very painful. So I've given it to you for free. Share this for free so that it will reach those who need it. Thank you. Bye.